The Dallas County Museum in Iowa has accepted my donations of family items. So in other words, my father's and my mother's utensils and his Army uniform World War I, my Army uniform World War II are there. And the curator, Pete Malmberg, has suggested that there's room to put Lugardi's mementos. So his mother and I, Lugardi's mother and I, we separated his material yesterday and we threw away part. But I'm going to show you some of the things that we didn't throw away. Here's one thing that Lugardi wanted to keep. How the New York Times reported and how the Daily News reported. So they're going to like that out there in their museum. Meaning they do lend these to any source that wants to
research it.
Now, we found a lot of Haitian stuff. For example, I was at the main hotel in Haiti. It's called the Olofsen. And his mother and I were amused that I still had this. A friend that I had who was an artist, Benoit, I got his electrical bill because we had nothing else to write it on. This was the head of their television station, so I got his address that way. Here's Tele Haiti television station. Here is the bill paid for Lugardi's naturalization papers, and here is the actual naturalization papers. So there it is, the United States of America. You're a citizen because your mother is also a citizen. So there are the dates on there. 2009. Immunization. Here's all the shots that he got.
MMRs, huh?
Yes, and this is his mother, his mother's mother, I should say. And I met her before she died. She was a seamstress.
In Haiti?
No, I met her here. She was a seamstress, and that's the way she was able to live here. Now, the other items are priceless. Well, those are priceless too, but for example, one day I went to meet George Klein, famous Austrian, Swedish oncologist. He wanted me to add him into Philosopedia. So as I talked with him and Professor Tim Madigan, Lugardi had nothing to do, so he just sat and sketched the man. And Dr. Klein wasn't disturbed by it, but when he finished, he sort of said, "Oh, young man, what are you doing?" I said, "I want to sketch here." "Oh," he says, and he signed it. He's the man that the Nobel Committee asks for suggestions to to give Nobel Prizes to in science. So that's priceless. Equally priceless is a letter from, you want to read?
Edward Albee, 14 Harrison Street, New York.
To Lugardi Termenfi. And Lugardi met him at an occasion at Lincoln Center, and he asked Albee, "Didn't you live across from Fedora's restaurant?" He says, "Yes. How did you know?" And he says, "Well, I've heard the story because we ate at the restaurant quite a bit." And he then talked with Albee, and after he researched him, decided to write to him and said, Mr. Albee, I want to be just like you. You flunked out of high school. I'm in 10th grade. I'm going to flunk out. Well, Albee hand wrote a letter back to him saying, no, 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 don't do that. But he had a cute saying here. He says that, remember, Samuel Beckett says about failing, if you fail, fail again, fail better. That was his excuse.
I also like the part, I think, where he says here that learning how to educate yourself after graduation is what matters.
Right, right. And Lagarde did write several other times, mainly to say, I'm sorry, Mr. Albee, I haven't failed. I succeeded, I graduated. Albee didn't respond. You want to read that? This is the sweetest letter I ever got.
Besides the one from me, obviously.
Yeah.
Just as I thought my father did not leave me something after his death, I met Warren Allen Smith. He was the greatest thing that happened to me. He is like a father to me. He is also my best friend. I love this man very much. Thank you for everything, being a tutor, father, and friend. Lagarde.
So now also, I will donate his birth certificate,
From Haiti.
which is pronounced Haiti.
Port-au-Prince? How they pronounce Port-au-Prince or?
Port-au-Prince.
Port-au-Prince.
You can tell him.
So his last name was Olivier.
No, his
Olivier.
middle name. In fact, his mother calls him Olivier.
Oh, Olivier.
Olivier. I think mainly when she's angry, she calls him Lagarde. Here is how I was able to get him transferred from Brooklyn Middle School to this address in order to go to Manhattan School. Lagarde's mother and I found these.
You know why the name Klein was sounding familiar to me?
What? Why?
Guess who was the chancellor at the Department of Education?
When you were there?
He was there for a long time, even when I was Joseph Klein.
Joseph Klein. Yeah. These are two books that we found, his mother and I found, where I kept track of income and outgo. And this was my address, but where I kept the addresses. Oh, here's my friend from Morocco. And in other words, just to put these in a box isn't going to be very helpful, but it should interest some people. Now then, the other material is, here is Lagarde's a copy of the citizenship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here is his mother's marriage license.
From Haiti.